extra pain today? Yeah. I'm trying not to talk too loud. No, that's right. Okay. Now, 15. 15 people. Now imagine. Jesus was one. He had 12. Slip through here. That would give it. Let me slip right there. Thank you. That'd be 13 people. Kind of like this. Actually, we're a little better staffed. Picture him with 20, 30, 40,000 people, all wanting to get to him. The disciples were his barrier, basically. They were his buffer zone. And you can see that because they were around him, and they kind of carried him through the crowd, and people would touch him, and he said, "Who touched me?" And they said, "Come on, Jesus, look around. How can we tell?" So they were jostling, and, that was his entourage. I mean, that's how he got places sometimes. They would clear the way for him and stuff. This is very similar, but on a much smaller scale. But I'm telling you, you start getting results, and this is nothing. I'm telling you, people will come. We've had people fly from across the United States. We had pastors fly from Vancouver, British Columbia, when I was in Charlotte, North Carolina, across the continent. We've had people come from across the United States, everywhere. People are coming from Australia for the conference just to be prayed for. They're bringing their child just to be prayed for. You start getting results, and God will fill your house. He will fill it to overflowing. It doesn't matter where you're at. Somebody doesn't know, where this town is. So what? God will bring. Who ever heard of Woodstock? Come on. Okay? But people came, thousands piled in, right? Same thing. God will fill a place. Now, he didn't fill that place. But you can see the potential. God will fill your house. You start getting results. Okay? Now, I've purposely not taught a set method of praying. Because if you do that, now, there is some things I've given you hints about releasing and praying and not. Now, so one thing, sometimes I pray real quick and I move my hands. Sometimes I leave my hands on for a while. It depends on the circumstances. And in the early part of praying, when I'm still real energetic, it's real quick. Whenever I start getting tired, the more tired physically you get, generally the less the ability of God to flow through you is there, okay? Because you have a less of an ability to focus and to be able to stay clear with what you're doing and to get serious and to get pumped up, I guess you would say, stirred up. And so I had to leave my hands on people longer because there's a less of a flow. You say, well, that's too practical. I'm sorry, that's just the way it works, okay? So you decide how long you lay hands on somebody. But generally speaking, do it long enough to get the job done, release, let it into them, and then back off. If you hold on too long, it'll come back on you, which is not a bad thing, but it doesn't do the job it was sent to do, okay? The power of the Spirit is like electricity, exactly like electricity. Where do you think everything in the Spirit you can see in the physical? Electricity, we use it at our will. We turn on a light switch. Same thing with the power of God. Electricity of the Spirit is the Spirit of God. Now, I'm not talking about physical electricity. I'm talking about the power of God is like electricity. Right? You look at the human body, the veins, and it is identical to a lightning strike. I basically believe that's the way God made our veins. He spoke, and the lightnings of God went, and that was the, okay, anyway. Okay. You may say, wow, you really believe some weird stuff. Well, like I say, it makes sense to me. Okay, so go ahead and start praying. Remember, those of you that are coming up, be specific. Look behind you, there's lines, okay? We don't need a case history. We don't need a life history. We just need to know what you want to be free from. That's it. Make it very concise, and then let them pray, okay? Try to tell them what you can't do. In other words, well, I can't bend over and touch my toes, okay? Because that'll give us an idea of what kind of pain it is and what kind of situation, okay? But be very concise. Don't drag it out. Well, I can't do this, can't do that, and when I do this, it kind of hurts. Specific, okay? You prayers. Pray for people. Be specific. If they start rambling, tell them. Specific, okay? Don't worry about it. Yes, ma'am. Go ahead. Start praying.
I've had chronic, like the woman with the issue of blood. It's adult ADD, low blood sugar, multiple chemical sensitivities. It's just been really difficult. Everything. So I don't really know what to ask on.
Okay.
Specific.
Okay. Those of you that are praying, hold on just a second. Okay, listen up, listen up. Listen up, just for a second. I know. Believe me, it's not going to bother the Spirit of God if you stop praying for a second, okay? Listen up. Listen up. Now I know people get mad sometimes when I interrupt prayer, but I'm telling you, it doesn't bother the Spirit of God. It doesn't distract him. He's very focused. You go back, he'll know exactly where you're at, okay? He's God. He's big. If a person comes up to you and says, I've got this, and this, and this, and then maybe they don't know the name of each thing, but it's this kind of thing and that kind of thing, if they give you more than two things, in other words, if they give you three, that should tell you right then. We're not praying for a specific thing. We're praying against a spirit of infirmity. That's what that is. Two or more is a spirit of infirmity. Okay? Deal with that first, and then, but when you call it out, call out the symptoms of what they've told you. Okay? That way, because that covers it. Because you don't have to necessarily know the name of everything. But the spirit of infirmity takes care of that, because the spirit of infirmity hits different areas. It's the same spirit. It's one spirit, but it shows up in different ways. Okay? So I just want to bring that to you because I know that's a lot of times, okay? Well, okay. A couple other things real quick. And just because if you say like I have like a stiff neck or pain in my neck or something like that, most of the time, I'll be honest with you, in an area that is a spirit of religion trying to either come on you or already on you, it doesn't mean that you're religious, not saved. I don't mean that. You can be in an area and that spirit will try to attack you. It doesn't mean you got it. It just means it is trying to attack you. You see? Don't relate it to say, well, wow, you mean I'm religious, not saved? I don't mean that. I'm saying he's trying to come on you. Okay? So these are some of the things we deal with in the specifics of the training. You'll get a lot more. I'm telling you, I can't do that now, but you'll get very specific. So go ahead. But just two or more, it's a spirit of infirmity. Cast it out. Okay? Yes, sir.